Salutations, second graders. Welcome to Phonics Lesson 6. Today we're going to work on expanding sentences. And before we can get to our paper, we'll be doing page 293 and 294 in your English packet. Before we get started on that, let's just review. All right, second graders, here we go. Sentences are made up of how many parts? What goes in the blank there? Kylie. All sentences are made up of two parts. Good job. Two parts. And what are those two parts? Who remembers what two parts are all sentences made up of? That's right. It's right here. The subject part and the predicate part. All right, boys and girls, the subject part of a sentence tells us who or what the sentence is about. And the predicate part tells what the subject does or is. So if I were to say, the dog runs across the playground, who or what is that sentence about? Who is the subject of that sentence, or what is the subject? The dog runs across the playground. The subject part is the dog. Good job, second grade. And the predicate part tells what the subject does. So what did the dog do in my sentence? He runs across the playground. So the predicate part is runs across the playground. Excellent work, second graders. Let's remember adjectives. We talked about adjectives, and adjectives are words that describes nouns, right? Adjectives describe nouns. So if I said the big brown dog ran across the playground, the adjectives would be big and brown. Now remember, there's two kinds of adjectives: the adjectives that tell what kind and the adjectives that tell how many. So my sentence was the big brown dog runs across the playground. That tells me what kind of dog he was. Now, what if I said the 5 dogs ran across the playground? Well, the adjective would be 5, right? Because I'm telling you how many dogs. Okay, second graders, that's our review. Have your paper in front of you, and let's see what it says on page 293. Page 293, read along with me at the top of the page where it says an adjective. Boys and girls, an adjective is a word that describes a noun. It answers the questions, what kind or how many. When we add adjectives in front of nouns, it makes a sentence longer and more interesting. We've had practice with that this year as we've been working on our writing. When we revise, we add the adjectives, remember? Okay. So let's read their sample sentences. Read with me, please. The bee buzzed around the rose. That's an okay sentence. It's a complete thought. But to make it more interesting, we're going to add some adjectives in there. Let's hear what it sounds like now. The noisy bee buzzed around the pink rose. So our subject is the bee. What kind of bee? The noisy bee. Very good. And then when we're talking about the rose, it tells us what kind of rose. The pink rose, not the white one, not the red one, but the pink one. All right, so let's read our instructions on our paper. Today, my friends, we're going to mark the more interesting sentence and draw boxes around 2 adjectives. All right, so the first one we'll do together. It says the 4 girls played a fun game, or the girls played a game. Boys and girls, which one of those sentences is more interesting? The 4 girls played a fun game, or the girls played a game? Quincy. The 4 girls played a fun game. Good job, mark it down. And then we have to draw boxes around the 2 adjectives. Can you help me find the adjectives there, Giovanni? That's right. 4 girls answers the adjective question, how many? And then what kind of game did they play, Sierra? The fun game. Put a box around it. Good job, second graders. Number 2, Ellie fell on the sidewalk, or little Ellie fell on the hard sidewalk. Which one of those sentences is the most interesting? Valentina. Yes, little Ellie fell on the hard sidewalk. Excellent work. So we have to box the adjectives. Where is an adjective in that sentence, Adeline? Little. Little Ellie fell on the hard sidewalk. What kind of sidewalk, second grade? Hard. Very good. Okay, number 3. The 3 girls helped their good friend, or the girls helped their friend. Reagan, which sentence is more interesting? The 3 girls helped their good friend. Very good job. And then we're going to box our adjectives. What adjectives do you see there? JJ. 3 tells us how many girls. And what kind of friend? Bradley. Good friend. Excellent job. Second graders, you are so good at this. The girls showed love to Ellie, or the young girls showed love to little Ellie. The more interesting sentence is, the young girls showed love to little Ellie. So help me find my adjectives. Kylie. The young girls tells us what kind of girls, right? And what else? Tino. Little Ellie. Good job. All right, now we're going to write an adjective in the blank that describes the underlined noun and makes the sentence more interesting. So, the girls made a blank card for Ellie. Well, let's think, boys and girls, what's going to make the most sense there? The girls made a pretty card for Ellie, or the girls made a wet card for Ellie? What makes sense there? What do you want me to write, Sean? Pretty. The girls made a pretty card. All right. They drew a blank cat on the card. What kind of cat did they draw? Did they draw a fast cat, or did they draw a gray cat? A gray cat. Excellent work, second graders. All right, Ellie thanked the blank girls. What kind of girls, guys? The long girls? That doesn't make any sense. The kind girls. Go ahead and write in the word kind. And let's go ahead and look at the next side of your paper. We'll go over the instructions. And then, my friends, I'm going to let you work. And if you want to work with me, then you'll stay tuned and we'll finish together. Okay, number 8 says, write a sentence about a flower. Use an adjective that describes what kind of look, smell, or feel it has. So let me think. If I said, okay, here's my sentence. Are you ready? The soft red rose smelled sweet. I used a lot of adjectives in that sentence. Boys and girls, you have to come up with your own sentence about a flower using at least one adjective that describes what kind of look, smell, or feel it has. Okay, I'll read your sentences later, or you can have mom or dad take a picture and text it to me. Go ahead, write your sentence when you have time. Let's finish going over the paper. We're going to find the adjective in front of nouns, right? So numbers 9 and 10 say, mark a more interesting sentence and draw a box around one adjective. So I'm going to let you work on this. It's just review from what we just did. And let's look at the next part. For numbers 11 and 12, you have to write an adjective in the blank that describes the underlined noun and makes the sentence more interesting. Boys and girls, you have to pick the word that makes sense. So your adjective has to go along with the rest of the sentence, okay? All right. Number 13 says, circle the circle the predicate parts and underline the subject parts. Everyone circle predicate parts. Underline subject parts. Then you're going to write the run-on sentence as two sentences. Friends, this is review from our lesson from last week. You have the rest of the time to work on your paper. You can stop it now, or you can stay tuned and do this side with me. Have a great day if you're signing off. Bye, second grade. Okay, if you are still here, number 8 is your sentence. I'm not going to write one down. Let's look at number 9. Number 9, we have to mark the more interesting sentence and draw a box around one adjective. Draw a box where it says one adjective, just so we remember. Okay, and it says Grandma has a beautiful garden, or Grandma has a garden. Which one is the more interesting sentence, Jackson? Very good. Grandma has a beautiful garden. And where are we going? What word are we going to box? What is our adjective there, Emma? Beautiful. Tells us what kind of garden she has. Excellent job. She grows flowers, or she grows bright flowers. Sonia, which one is more interesting sentence? She grows bright flowers. Excellent. And what tells us what kind of flowers? The adjective there is bright. Good job, second grade. I'm so proud of you. All right, let's move on. Now we have to write an adjective in the blank that describes the underlined noun and makes the sentence more interesting. Worms crawl in the blank dirt. What's going to go in the blank that makes sense there, Lola? Worms crawl in the brown dirt. Very good. And then we have the next sentence, a blank grasshopper jumps on the stone. What kind of grasshopper, Jax? A green grasshopper. Okay, second graders. Number 13 says, circle the predicate parts, underline the subject parts, and then write the run-on sentence as two sentences. So Cole reads a story, Brad draws a picture. What are the predicate parts there, please? Jacob reads a story. Very good, because it reads is an action, and draws a picture. Very good. Now, if reads a story is the predicate part, what is the subject part? Cole's the one who reads the story. And what about draws a picture? Who draws the picture? Brad. Excellent, second graders. Now let's write our sentences. We have Cole reads the story. Don't forget, use your capitalized letters at the beginning of every sentence and correct punctuation. Cole reads a story. It's just telling us something, so it gets a period. And Brad draws a picture. Okay, second graders, that's it. I hope you had a great English lesson today. Have a good day. Don't forget to work on IXL, and I'll see you for our next lesson. Bye.